to improve your knowledge on how these markets do operate, UK market and Nordic markets. Okay, so first of all, I'll be concentrating on UK markets. Let us come to the introduction of UK markets. UK electricity markets are one of the first markets which are developed in the globe. The first restructured markets were in USA, and in Europe, UK used to be the first restructured markets. It was restructured in the year 1988, if you carefully see. By 1988, restructuring of the power system, it started. Before 1988, there used to be a single electricity board, which used to manage the generation, transmission, and distribution. Central Electricity Generating Board. This was completely responsible for handling the electricity operations in the entire Great Britain. Scotland, England, Wales, all these areas, electricity was handled by this particular single company. It used to have very large generation capability, 60,000 megawatts of capacity in the year 1988. And apart from this generation, it also handled all the transmission lines in England and Wales. And also, it used to manage distribution system also prior to 1988. But in 1988 onwards, by 1989, this single company was divided into 4 companies. The generation, transmission, and distribution were separated from this parent company, and 4 companies were developed. One is National Power, Powergen, Nuclear Electric, which handled the nuclear electric plants, and the transmission system was handled by National Grid Company. If you can carefully see, National Grid Company. Even to this day, it is still exists, NGC, National Grid Company, which handles the transmission system. These 2 were privatized later on, but these 2 remained in the government hands, Nuclear Electric Company and National Grid Company. These 2 are still under the rule of the governments. They are owned by the governments. And NGC, this particular NGC, this handled the transmission system. All the high voltage transmission lines in England and Wales were handled by this National Grid Company. See, I have mentioned here, NGC was made responsible for the national transmission system. Apart from this, several regional electric companies were also started in order to handle sub-transmission and distribution networks. So major transmission was handled by this NGC. As I already told you, isn't it? A person who is handling the transmission network will be termed as independent system operator in restructured market. So NGC assumed the role of system operator, independent system operator, what we call it as ISO, with the responsibility of promoting competition. NGC, National Grid Company. And this NGC, it has taken up the responsibility of market operator also, and it organized the bidding process, received the bids from both buyers and sellers, and after receiving the bids from both buyers and sellers, the market prices were settled every day. And finally, scheduling and dispatch was also taken up by this NGC. This NGC, which was handling transmission sector, it also took up this responsibility of pool operator. See, all these jobs are basically pool operation jobs, right? So NGC took the responsibility of all these things. See, I have mentioned, it is also responsible for transmission system security, reliability, congestion management, and setting above transmission prices. These are all transmission jobs. Apart from this, these are market jobs, pool market. So NGC was solely responsible for these 2. And in the UK market, all the generating units, they are supposed to participate in the pool compulsorily. There is no choice. All the generators, they must participate in the power pool only. Okay. And the total load forecast for the system is available to NGC. Since I have shown you, The distribution network is maintained by regional electric companies. So these regional electric companies, they submitted the bids. So let us suppose there are number of generators. And there was a pool, all generators used to provide information regarding their prices, regarding their availability to the pool. And there were 12 regional companies, RECs, these will be 12. And these used to provide the information of load forecasts. So based upon this load forecasting, this NGC, who is also this operator here, it used to finalize the prices. Okay. See, the total load forecast for the system is available to NGC since all RECs submit the regional forecasts, isn't it? So now, how this UK market used to operate? And before I say something regarding this UK markets, UK market was literally speaking just like your day ahead markets. In a day ahead market, you know that the entire slots from morning 12 a.m. to again night 12 p.m. what we call it as again 12 a.m. This 24-hour slots will be there na. 24-hour slots, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. These are basically our slots, right? But in UK markets, the slots will be of half an hour. So basically, how many slots you will be getting? You will be getting nearly 48 slots. So that's why business was done based upon this slot number, and a total of 48 slots were available for every day. 48 slots, and all the generators, they used to submit their bids for each of these slots. ఈ స్లాట్లో మేము ఇంత జనరేట్ చేయగలం, ఈ స్లాట్లో ఇంత జనరేట్ చేయగలం, ఈ స్లాట్లో మా ప్రైస్ ఇంత. So see, all the generators submit their price and quantity, how much quantity they can supply and how much price they are expecting in half hourly blocks for the next day. I hope you have understood now. For each of these 48 slots, all the generating companies, let us suppose there are 3 generating units. Each of these 3 generating units used to supply their bids, price and quantity based upon this bidding type, slot type. Okay, these 48 bids for energy supply are then arranged in the order of their offer prices and are matched with the load forecast for each half an hour. Now, I would like to mention few things here. What is the difference between a conventional market and a UK market? I would like to show here. Yeah, normally in the last class, I think in the unit number 1, I used to say one thing, right? How market clearing price is determined better. Normally you will be having, I am drawing here. Normally what you will be drawing, what is this one? This is supply curve, and normally you will be having a demand curve, right? And this intersection is nothing but your market clearing price, and this is your market clearing volume, isn't it? How many of you do remember this one? This is supply curve, this is demand curve. How many of you do remember this one, guys? The intersection of these two curves is the market clearing price. Anybody do remember this one, which we have discussed in the unit number 1? Good, Sai, good. So this was market clearing price. We have done some problems also based upon this one, right? But whereas in a UK market, it is a little bit different one. Supply is not taken up because I have mentioned here earlier itself. Supply bids are not taken, sorry, demand bids are not taken up here. In the last slide itself, I have mentioned what is happening here. Only forecast is being calculated here. RECs, 12 RECs are there. 12 RECs, they will provide only forecast for next day. For each of these 14 slots, they will provide, okay, this might be the forecast. They won't supply that this is the power required. What they will supply is they will provide information that this might be the forecast. So that's why demand curve is not available in UK markets better. In UK markets, basically how it will be is you will be having supply curve. You will be having supply curve. But here instead of demand curve, what you will be having is you will be having a forecast curve. This is the forecast. So the intersection of these two, is considered as a normal price. Okay. See, the highest priced bit of your supply curve, which matches the load forecast. See, this is the load forecast, and this is the supply curve, which consists of all the priced bit offers. The intersection of these two gives your system clearing price. What is it? Is called as system clearing price or system marginal price, which is often referred to SMP. SMP. Based upon this SMP, the amount of generation to be scheduled is also decided from this. See, this is the amount of generation, and this is the price, system marginal price. In normal markets, this is the market clearing price, isn't it? You will be having a demand curve. But here, since only regional units are there, they will provide only forecast, and that's why forecast will be a straight line. So intersection of these two will give you system marginal price. And this is the volume which will be cleared. Okay. And this information will be conveyed to the generators that this is the amount of generation which is to be done. Okay. Now hope you have understood what do you mean by SMP. SMP is the intersection of supply curve and forecast curve, because demand curve is not available in UK markets. Okay. SMP is there. Now you might be asking a question. Sir, mar forecast chestaru, mar forecast okosari tappu undochu kada, because forecast anedi every half an hour ki forecast chesi submit cheyali. Forecast anedi okosari miss avvachu. There may be higher chances of missing the forecast, isn't it? In that case, the generators will be asked, whoever the generators are participating in the business, they will be asked to make over a standby. They will be asked to maintain a standby. Let us suppose if the forecast goes wrong, the generators must be capable of providing at least some additional power, isn't it? And for providing that additional power, they will be paid for that. Okay, that's what I'm mentioning here. See, see, the system price so obtained from matching the supply curve with the load forecast is basically unconstrained dispatch. What is it called as, guys? We have seen it in the earlier one. It is called as SMP, isn't it? System marginal price. Now, however, if there are outages and system operator expects shortfalls on some account, ante forecast ane sarigga ledanu forecast lekapothe em chestam ra basically the generators will be asked to provide some more power, or they may be asked to reduce their generation. Sudden ga demand anedi padipoyindi anukunnam, appudu generation kuda mundugane nu confirm ayintavu. Basically next half an hour meer inta generate cheyalani cheppesi untavu, but sudden ga because of some outages, because of some cyclones, let us suppose the demand goes down, so immediately the generators also will be asked to adjust because of the forecast, the errors in the forecast, called as loss of load probability. Loss of load probability. Why it is happening? Because the forecasts are always not correct. So this SMP, normally this is the intersection of forecast and supply curves. But sometimes some generators are providing you some more power because of change in forecast, and that changed one is called as loss of load probability. And the generators will be receiving an extra amount for this one, and that is called as capacity payments. So what is capacity payment? It is an additional amount which is obtained by the generators or the gencos because they are providing electricity in case of exigency. Okay, see, This component provides an incentive to the GenCos to maintain an adequate margin over the level of demand. Why it is to be maintained? Because forecast may not be always correct. So that's why the generators, not all the generators, few generators, they will be asked to maintain adequate margin. And for maintaining this adequate margin, they will be paid an additional amount, and this is called as capacity payment. Okay. Now let us suppose if margin narrows, then automatically what happens? The capacity payment component can be very high. ఇప్పుడు అన్ని జెన్కోస్ కొంచెం మార్జిన్ మెయింటైన్ చేయమన్నాం, బట్ ఎవడు మెయింటైన్ చేయలేకపోయింది అనుకుందాం. బట్ నీకు రిక్వైర్మెంట్ ఉంది, ఆటోమేటిక్ ఏమవుతుందిరా? యువర్ కెపాసిటీ పేమెంట్ గోస్ ఆన్ హైయర్ because nobody is ready to give you additional power. So shortage is there. So automatically he will demand more power, isn't it? And if let us suppose if large amount of generation is available, then automatically capacity payment decreases, isn't it? Inverse law of economics. If supply is large, additional supply is large, not supply, additional supply is large, nobody will be ready to buy it at a higher price, isn't it? So I hope you have understood what do you mean by capacity payment. What is capacity payment, guys? It is the incentive which is given to GenCos for maintaining additional margin above the demand level. Okay. So normally this is the price of electricity, but since generators are providing an additional thing, they are being paid capacity payment also. And where it will be reflecting? ఇప్పుడు నువ్వు నార్మల్గా ఇది ఫిక్సప్ చేసేవారు, ఇది ప్రైస్ ఆఫ్ ఎలక్ట్రిసిటీ అని, బట్ అడిషనల్గా నువ్వు ఫోర్కాస్ట్లో ఎర్రర్స్ వస్తాయి కాబట్టి ఇది కూడా నువ్వు పే చేస్తున్నావు జెన్కోస్కి. మరి ఇది ఎక్కడి నుంచి కలెక్ట్ చేయాలి? ఇది కూడా కన్స్యూమర్స్ దగ్గర నుంచే కలెక్ట్ చేయాలి కదా. సో దట్స్ వై SMP ప్లస్ కెపాసిటీ పేమెంట్ ఆల్సో విల్ బి కలెక్టెడ్ ఫ్రమ్ రీజనల్ కంపెనీస్. Okay, so that's what I am mentioning here. GenCos sell power into the power pool at pool purchase price, which is the SMP plus capacity payment, isn't it? SMP plus capacity payments. This is the price which GenCos will be getting. They will be getting this as intersection of forecast and supply cost. Plus additionally, since they are maintaining additional capacity, they are being paid for this. So this is the total price for the GenCos will be getting, isn't it? This is called as pool purchase price. What I call it as pool purchase price. Pool purchase price, which is nothing but sum of SMP, system marginal price, and capacity payments. ప్లస్ ఇది జెన్కోస్కి వస్తుంది. జెన్కోస్ వాళ్ళు పవర్ సప్లై, ఇది బేసిక్ పవర్ సప్లై చేస్తున్నారు, ప్లస్ అడిషనల్ పవర్ మెయింటైన్ చేస్తున్నందుకు వాళ్ళు మొత్తం వాళ్ళకి ఇంత కడుతున్నాం బేసికల్గా. మరి బయర్ ఇంతే కడతాడా, ఇంకెక్కువ కడతాడా? బయర్కి అడిషనల్గా ఏముంటుందిరా? ట్రాన్స్మిషన్ సర్వీసెస్ ఉంటాయి బేసికల్గా, బికాస్ హీ ఈస్ టు ప్రొక్యూర్ ట్రాన్స్మిషన్ సర్వీసెస్ ఆల్సో, అండ్ దే విల్ బి సమ్ సార్ట్ ఆఫ్ లాసెస్ ఆల్సో, isn't it? So losses are also to be compensated. So additionally, there will be an uplift for this one, which is generally considered to be an accountable for losses. So pool purchase price for the GenCos plus this uplift, which is a measure of amount of losses in the network. This is what pool selling price. Pool will be selling the power at this one. So buyers will be paying this much amount of money. Okay, so distribution companies and regional suppliers buy from the pool at pool selling price, which is PPP plus an uplift. So what is uplift? Uplift is dependent where the power is drawn and takes into account the losses in the network. So the buyers are supposed to pay this one to the buyers, and also because of the losses, they are forced to pay the uplift also. So total price now is PPP plus uplift. This is PSP. This is pool selling price. So that's why I have mentioned here. See, GenCos receive pool purchase price, which is intersection of the curves plus additional power which they are maintaining. Customers, they are supposed to pay to the GenCos and also for the losses. This is pool selling price. Got it? This is the concept of UK markets. Where there is no demand curve, there will be only, I have mentioned here, yeah, there is only supply curve, and additionally there will be a forecast. This is the problem with the UK markets. See, this is the price which the generators are offering. This is called as a supply curve, isn't it? This is the supply curve. Additionally, there is no demand curve. If you see, there is only demand forecasts. This is demand forecast. The intersection of these two is nothing but your pool price, or what I call it as SMP, system marginal price.
Mama.
This is called a system marginal price, isn't it? And if you carefully see, guys, one more thing. This is for slot 1 or slot 2 or slot 3. And what is the duration of this slot? 30 minutes only. What is the duration of this slot? For every 30 minutes, intersections will be done. And based upon that, prices will be decided. First, SMP will be decided. Once SMP is decided, next capacity payment will be decided. So, combining these two, what you will be getting? PPP, which will be given to the GENCOs. Plus, additionally, uplift will be carried, which is selling price of the pool. This is the pool markets. Now we will move on to Nordic markets. Then what is Nordic markets? See, what are Nordic countries? If you carefully see, Norway, Sweden, Finland, and this is Denmark. All these countries, they have a common power market, which is called as a Nord markets. It was established in 1966, first in the Sweden, and next individually, first Sweden and Norway used to have two different markets. But in 1996, they both combined to form a single market, which is called as Nord Pool. And after this Nord Pool was formed with a combination of these two countries, Finland also joined 2 years later, and later after 1 year, Denmark also joined. So totally 4 countries are now in Nord Pool. See, Sweden, Norway, Finland, and Denmark. In these markets, 75% to 80% are basically bilateral contracts, which means a larger share is with the bilateral contracts, and the remaining thing will be handled over in pool markets. 20 to 25% in pool markets. Whereas in UK, 100% pool market, 0% bilateral contracts market, 0% open access. But whereas in this one, only to 20-25% is only with the pool market. And pool market lo kuda chala rakalu untayani cheppanu avuna. Ikkada kuda ఇందులో కూడా 2 రకాల మార్కెట్స్ ఉన్నాయి, ఫ్యూచర్ మార్కెట్ అండ్ స్పాట్ మార్కెట్స్. See, spot market is there which handles hour to hour basis, okay, and the next one is futures market where I can buy power for the future. ఫ్యూచర్ మార్కెట్ మీరు అబ్జర్వ్ చేస్తేనన్నా వీక్లీ బేసిస్ కొనుక్కోవచ్చు, లేకపోతే 3 years తర్వాత కోసమైనా కొనుక్కోవచ్చు. నార్డ్ పూల్లో మార్కెట్, ఇట్ హ్యాస్ అ ఫ్లెక్సిబిలిటీ ఆఫ్ పర్చేసింగ్ పవర్ ఫర్ పీరియడ్ ఆఫ్ 3 years later, 3 years in advance. The next, see, a distinctive feature of Nordic electric market is that there is a significant share of bilateral transactions. And see, it consists of both spot markets and futures markets also. And the most important thing, participation of generators or customers in is not mandatory in Nord Pool. Whereas in UK Pool it was mandatory. But it is not mandatory. And see, only 25% of the energy consumed in the Nordic countries is traded in Nord Pool. The number is still growing, but see, 25% only. The remaining 75% bilateral contracts model. Now let's see how this market is going to work. Nord Pool operates two different types of markets. One is futures market, the other one is spot market. In the spot market, again, see, this is a futures market. Two types of spot markets are available. One is day ahead market, the other one is hour ahead markets. రేపటికి కావాల్సింది కొనుక్కోవచ్చు, లేకపోతే నెక్స్ట్ అవర్కి ఏం కావాలో టక్కన పోయి కొనుక్కోవచ్చు. Two types of spot markets are available, and also there is a future market also. Okay, and see here, the future markets is not a physical market, purely a financial market, because ఎందుకంటే ఎలక్ట్రిసిటీ ఇప్పుడు సప్లై చేయట్లేదు. ఎప్పుడు సప్లై చేస్తామంటే కావాలిస్తే 3 సంవత్సరాల తర్వాత సప్లై చేస్తాం. పేమెంట్ కూడా అప్పుడే కట్టండి, బట్ అగ్రిమెంట్ మాత్రం ఇప్పుడు జరగాలి. Okay, see, futures market is not a physical market, purely a financial market for price hedging, risk management, and trading forward and future power contracts. And what is the duration of the future market? How much you can purchase? Up 3 years in advance. ఇప్పుడు 2021 కదా, 2024లో పవర్ నాకు కావాలని ఇప్పుడే కొనుక్కోవచ్చు. So that is the concept of futures markets. So now, contracts for purchase of weekly base or peak load for up to 3 years in advance is possible. Okay, and this is about futures market. Whereas these two are spot markets, isn't it? Spot markets etla jarugutayra? Spot markets, we have seen it many times. How do the spot markets do happen? Bids will be accepted for both sale and purchase, isn't it? Bids are integrated in separate price versus quantity curves called as supply curve and demand curve, which are matched to obtain system price. And system price is applicable to all bidders, both buyers and the sellers. Now, first of all, let me show you the figure. See, ఇది మనం ఇంతకుముందు ఫస్ట్ యూనిట్లో చేసాం. If you do remember this one, see, this is bids from the sellers called as a supply curve, isn't it? This is bid from the buyers. This is called as demand curve. Intersection of these two gives you a market clearing price. ఇంతకుముందు ఏముండిందిరా? మార్కెట్ క్లియరింగ్ ప్రైస్ లేదు, ఇంతకుముందు సిస్టమ్ మార్జినల్ ప్రైస్ ఉండింది. ఇది మార్కెట్ క్లియరింగ్ ప్రైస్, and this is the market clearing volume. This is what happens in a node pool, spot market settlements. Okay, and all these bids collected and this calculations are done, everything will be taken up by independent system. Okay, so now what we can say with respect to the node pool market and UK market. Both markets are very close to each other. Both exist in Europe, just only miles away. Whereas UK is completely a pool market. All the generators are forced to participate in the pool market. The ISO will be having a huge responsibility of handling all these things. Whereas here, node markets, the ratio of things which they handle is very low when compared to what is happening in those countries. Only 25% of the power which is transferred, it goes through the node markets. And here direct market clearing price is available. Whereas in UK markets, market clearing price is not available directly. Only system marginal price is available. That too only with the intersection of forecast curve. In either of these two markets, is important. Whether it is pool market, whether it is spot market in case of open access markets, ISO is important, isn't it? Markets are handled by ISO apart from transmission services. See, independent system operator is a central entity to have emerged in all deregulated markets. He has multiple responsibilities of ensuring system security and reliability. He offers fair and equitable transmission tariffs and further provides other system services. The role is different. The role in pool market and open access markets is different, but the responsibilities also they will be different. But at the end of the day, he is required in both of these markets. If it is open access market, only for transmission services and providing security and reliability to the system. Whereas in case of pool markets, He is supposed to go with scheduling, bids collection, finalizing the prices, etc. Okay, but anyways, ISO is important. So I hope now you are able to understand what are the UK and Nordic electricity markets are. I hope you are able to compare these two markets. How electricity prices are derived from these two markets. And these are the questions which I have asked in your weekly assignment. If you can carefully see, what do you understand by capacity payment? What do you understand by capacity payment, guys? It is the amount which is additionally paid to the GenCos for maintaining a standby, isn't it? And see, what are the distinct features of Nordic markets when compared to UK markets? UK markets, the price curve calculation is completely different. And all the generators, they will be forced to participate in the market. Whereas in case of Nordic markets, only 25% of the energy is being processed through Nord markets, through spot markets. At the same time, there will be directly market clearing price. There won't be any forecasting, etc. Directly demand bids will be collected, supply bids will be collected. They will be finalized, aggregated, finalized, and then intersected to get the required market clearing price. So like this, you need to compare these two markets and write it in minimum 3 to 4 pages as an essay question for 6 marks. Okay, so this is a reference textbook where you can go through unit number 3 of this operation of pre-structured power systems for more information. So that's it from my side.